Hello everyone, I'm Penrost776 and, well, it looks like they've brought ninjas back for another year. Don't know why they ditched pirates and not ninjas. Well, actually, I do know. Who's our first ninja? That looks to me like Camilla. Probably because it is. Camilla
easy for me, you know.
does already have a lot of ults, but here's another one. I guess it's been a while since the last one. So yeah, Ninja Camilla, Red Tome, Flyer. Yeah, I think honestly the reason that they brought ninjas back and not pirates is probably because ninjas sell well. Although that being said, I don't think they've quite got the reasons right. The reason ninjas sell well isn't because they're ninjas. Like, ninjas as a concept are cool, I guess, but it's not like people are exceptionally excited about ninjas in a way they're not excited about all the other seasons. What makes ninjas sell well is the fact that brave weapons are good. Brave weapons are good and people will pay a lot of money for brave weapons, especially if those brave weapons also come with a duo skill extra action, as all the previous ninja banners have. So, but frankly, the ninja part of the banner you could replace with anything else, and so long as you keep the brave weapons and the extra action, it'll still sell just as well, I think. In any case, yeah, Ninja Camilla, let's talk about her. Flowery Scroll is her weapon. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1, grants defense res -5 and inflicts speed -8 on unit. Interesting, kind of going the exact opposite of the previous set of ninja weapons. Those were high speed, low defense. This is high defense, low speed. Unit attacks twice. Even if foe initiates combat, unit attacks twice. Okay, and they're proper master weapons, not just brave. Dual attacks both phases. If foe initiates combat and unit's res is greater than foe's res, unit can counterattack before foe's first attack. Okay, so this is potentially a very scary looking tank unit here, because they're brave vantaging you, basically. They're brave vantaging you with a res check, which is one of the checks nowadays that's really hard to make, and also considering this is a tome unit, a res check is probably a pretty good check to base this on, because, well, units with high res are also the units who aren't going to die to that advantage anyway, so you're kind of consolidating your two weaknesses into one single weakness there, don't you think? Pretty interesting. Probably going to be quite a slow unit by the looks of it, so it's less about the quads and more about just that really strong kind of like better double. But that's fine. If you're looking to vantage, the quad doesn't really matter because you're really hoping that you win in the first couple of attacks. Although then again, this unit might also have really high defense and res, so maybe they can survive a couple of hits. Also in the kit, Glimmer. Sure, I guess. Close Salvo. Now, okay, that works really well. Unit can counteract regardless of foe's range. If unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, attack +5, that's dual phase. But after combat, 5 damage to unit. Kind of like a push, attack push close counter. We've seen it before on other units. Works really well here because A, if you're vantaging, you want more attack. B, if you're vantaging, you don't really care about your own HP stat. So that damage isn't really as much of an issue as it would be otherwise. You're hoping to ideally kill whoever's attacking you before your HP comes into play, right? In the B slot, we have a new tier 4 B slot here. It is Seal Res 4. Inflicts res -4 on foe during combat, and if no effect neutralizes penalties to foe's res, inflicts penalty on foe's res during combat equal to 7 minus current penalty on foe's res, minimum 0. So, okay, effectively, that's what this is doing, is making sure that when you're going into combat with your foe, so long as they're not immune to penalties, you're always getting a combat as if they had a -7 penalty, even if they have less of a penalty. If penalty is active on foe's res, inflict special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack during combat. Ooh! And of course, since it's a seal skill, inflicts res -7 on foe through its next action after combat. But that's cool, honestly, that's cool. So, yeah, effectively, res -4, they are going to have a -7 penalty even if they don't. And so long as they have any res penalty, you're getting guard. And I really like that because honestly, guard effects have been like pretty hard to come by these days. Guard's a really early skill in the B slot, but there hasn't really been much out since then that's better than guard. So this is really interesting. And also, notably, the whole res stat thing, really relevant for the res check going on in her weapon. Really relevant for her vantage strategy, because the foe's res is basically, well, and their HP are basically the only relevant stats for that, right? The rest of everything else isn't coming into the equation unless your whole vantage thing fails, right? And it's doubly important because it's a brave weapon, so it's getting checked twice. And then in the C slot, attack, res, hold. Yeah, that's a good hold skill. All in all, pretty scary unit here. We've seen how strong vantage strategies can be, or at least alternative vantage strategies can be with Brave Byleth, and I think Camilla being able to potentially put out a very devastating Brave vantage here is just another extension of that. So yeah, Hardy Bearing might be coming back into the metagame, folks. Let's see what her attacks look like. This is the flowery scroll. Ooh, that's cool. The little ring of fire and then it explodes around them. I like that. Very. Who's next? Oh, of course, it's Cherche. Cherche?
If you have a top secret mission, put me on it.
Actually, I'm suddenly realizing I don't know how to pronounce this unit's name. I've never heard it said out loud, but don't let that stop me. Cherche is equipped, another flyer, equipped with the Wyvern oh no. Because that's what you say when you see it. Grants defense res +5, inflicts speed -8 on unit. Okay, so that's a common effect across the banner, it seems like. Unit attacks twice, even if foe initiates combat. Unit attacks twice. Deals damage equal to 20% of unit's defense and reduces damage from foes' attacks by 20% of unit's defense. Oh no. That name is suddenly very appropriate. That's true damage, and more notably, that is flat damage reduction. What I still believe is the strongest effect in the game. Except one tiny little, very small little problem here. Looking up and down this skill set, this unit is a flyer. This unit does not have any sort of protection from arrows. Spring Maria, absolute menace. Those of you who've seen my videos with Spring Maria in will know. Spring Maria can just tank things to no end. One of the key things that lets Spring Maria do that is the fact that Spring Maria has built-in IOT shield. Because damage reduction is great and all, but effective damage hits like a truck. Effective damage is 50%. Okay? That's a big percent. That's a big percent. And that will kill you. Even with your fancy flat damage reduction. And no vantage effect here as well, so it's not like you're getting an easy way out there. Ignis, obviously this is going to be a high defense unit. Attack defense near trace. Yeah, that's good. Lower their attack, lower their defense. Good. And it's a trace skill. Trace skills are always good. And attack defense hold, again, very nice. But a very sort of attack defense focused kit here as well. Again, probably a slow unit, but compared to Spring Maria, compared to Aska, this unit does have a lot more offensive potential due to the whole thing of being a brave weapon. Like, that deals damage equal to 20% of unit's defense. They're hitting twice, remember, so that's 40% coming out. But defensively, they have that one massive flaw of arrows, effective damage, killing them. And don't know how exactly they plan to get around that. They don't have any, like, big skills in VA slots, so I suppose you could run Iote's Shield in VA slot, or in the S slot for that matter. But all in all, as far as just pure tanking goes, I think Spring Maria is still better than this. Especially because Spring Maria also has other survivability effects as well. Spring Maria heals herself for 7 after every combat. This is just pure offense with decent tankiness. Still, pretty strong unit, pretty cool unit, especially since this is a unit who hasn't had an alt Cherche in the meta for a very long time. So, and I know she does have fans, so those fans are probably rejoicing right now at this ninja. Well, interesting. I don't think meta breaking necessarily. I'm definitely not as scared of this unit as I am of Camilla at the moment. Slot 3, almost certainly our 4-star. That is Heath, is it? Is he called Heath? I think he's called Heath. Yeah, he's called Heath. He is a bow flyer. Equipped with the Wyvern Yumi. Effective against flying foes. Grants defense res +5 and inflicts speed -8 on unit. Unit attacks twice. Even if foe initiates combat, unit attacks twice. You know, one other thing I'm thinking about this banner suddenly? I've just noticed these things have the other disadvantage of being real brave weapons, so I think Summer's kind of winning out here, because this Wyvern Yumi, it has 6 might, and it's almost certainly not refinable. Something to bear in mind. That being said, it is a pretty decent weapon for if you're looking for a brave weapon, but for a tankier unit, I guess. Especially since one of the other bonuses of brave weapons is they make it easier to charge specials, and, well, the big specials that you often want to charge are Bonfire, or Ignis, Iceberg, that sort of thing. Cool enough. Speaking of, there's Bonfire. Attack defense catch 3. The catch 3 is not necessarily a skill I'd run on their own, but this at the very least does make it a lot easier to inherit catch 4s if you want that. And in the C slot, Pulse Smoke 3, which I do still think is a very valuable skill. There's a lot of defensive specials right now that care about being up. There's a lot of skills that care about specials going off, like the one that Brave Tiki brought with her. That whole skill family. Finish, was it? I think it was Finish, unless I'm making that up. So, stripping specials from people is a lot more important now than it ever was. Yeah, Brave Byleth is another unit I can think of that cares about that special for the whole advantage and damage reduction strategy. And then there's Vital Astra as well to bear in mind. There's a lot of specials going around that you really don't want going off, basically. So Pulse Smoke, very valuable skill, and having it available on a 4-star is also probably a pretty good pickup. yeah, pretty decent Heath here. Come to think of it, the last Heath was a 4-star as well. Was he 4-star GHB? So I guess Heath kind of stuck in the 4-star slot forever. But
all part of the job.
And who's our duo going to be? That is Laegjarn and not Flane, Fjorm, the other one.
I believe in you.
Very funny, actually. Very funny, the fact that they had their whole Tempest trial thing of, oh, we've solved the conflict between Nephilim and Muspel, we can be friends now, sort of. And now they're ninjas, for some reason. Well, here they are, ninjas. Equipped with the Flame Frost Bow. Accelerates special trigger, cooldown count -1. Effective against flying foes. Grants defense res +5 and inflicts speed -8 on unit. Same as everyone else. Unit attacks twice. Same as everyone else, even if foe initiates combat, unit attacks twice. Grants bonus equal to... Grants bonus to unit attack, defense, res during combat equal to 70% of the highest value among the total bonuses of target and the total bonuses of an ally within 2 spaces of unit. I kind of wish they'd given an example here, because the "and" is... I mean, I guess since it's among, and it's picking the highest out of both of those rather than adding both of those together, but it's FEH, so the true answer here is unclear. But in any case, total bonuses, let's think, 7 times 4. Okay, so that can be pretty big, actually. That can be a pretty massive attack defense res stat buff. And considering this is a brave weapon, yeah, this is basically just a stack big numbers weapon with slaying, because all good units have to have slaying these days, didn't you know? That's how we do things now. Kind of going the same route as Ascendant Laegjarn here, which makes sense, because this is literally Laegjarn in the unit. Also has Moonbow. Checks out. I mean, given the state of the metagame at the moment, you probably want Deadeye, because I don't see any other way of cutting through damage reduction. But Moonbow is perfectly serviceable. It is a 2 cooldown special, so with slaying that's going to 1, you're getting it all the time, basically. Attack res catch 4. Woohoo! That's attack res catch 4. The effect wants the opponent to have penalties anyway. I guess one of the nice things is the effect does also work on allied buffs, so unlike previous effects that specifically want buffs or penalties on the enemy, you're no longer getting shut down by units like Brave Hector or Ascendant or anyone else who can just nullify all penalties on themselves. You can still get those penalties an alternative way. That's pretty neat. Similar to the Seal res we saw earlier, here's Seal Defense 4. Inflicts defense -4 on foe during combat, bloody bloody blah. You know how it works. You saw Seal res earlier. Again, works pretty well. Guard is very nice to have for stopping yourself getting boomed by big specials. I don't think they make as much out of this skill as Camilla makes out of Seal res 4, because Camilla, like, honestly, her whole game plan is revolving around that res interaction. Here, it's not even like this super synergizes with your weapon, because you still want actual... Wait, I've just realized I misread. Among the total bonuses of target and total bonuses of an ally, so never mind, you don't want penalties on the opponent at all, except for catch. It's late, I'm tired. These things come out at like 3, 4 in the morning. But anyway, yeah, not getting as much out of it as Camilla does is the key point, but it's still neat. It's still giving you guard potentially. We like guard. And then in the C slot, attack smoke 4. After combat, inflicts attack -7 on target and foes within 2 spaces of target through their next actions. Grants defense res +6 to unit for 1 turn, and unit gains foe cannot make a follow-up attack for 1 turn. Again, putting this whole kit together, seems like you've got a pretty strong offensive unit that's also trying to be kind of tanky, but again, they're flying. We can't ignore the fact that they're flying, and as such, there is one whole entire category of units in the video game that is going to absolutely obliterate them. And notably also that category of units includes what are, at the moment, some of the best tank killer units in the game. I'm looking at you, Legendary Arm. So, like, although this is probably going to be a very strong tank and very strong offensive unit most of the time, then by no means going to be reliable for everything. And that's a concern, because the times when they're not reliable are also the times when you kind of need a really strong tank the most at the moment. Let's see what their duo skill is, although I can probably guess. Alright, we've got to see combat first. Duo skill grants unit another action. May be used only if unit has already entered combat during the current turn. Yeah, it's the ninja skill for the 3rd time. We can see their stats as well in the background here. 52 attack, 11 speed. Okay, admittedly this is taking the weapon into account. 48 defense, 49 res. Those are buffed, but those are still pretty high numbers, even without the buff, I'd expect. So, yeah, pretty good stats all around, and the potential to turn them into ridiculously high stats through their weapon effect, but in the end, that is kind of all they've got, except for their whole player phase potential thing. So I think this is all in all a pretty good unit, just because any unit with this duo skill and a high attack brave weapon is going to be good. There's no way around that. But honestly, I think Camilla probably is going to have a bigger impact on the meta still. Yeah, look, they're going to use it now, and admittedly they are going to obliterate every single unit here, but that's because all the enemies they're facing are flyers.
Sure.
Yeah, like,
From the shadows.
effective damage. This is what it can do. Here's a paralog, of course. Who is the Tempest Trials unit going to be? Is that Ha? Yeah, that looks like Ha. And he is a sword, so I guess we're getting a brave sword version of this as well. All in all, would I summon on this banner? Maybe, but it's basically just Camilla who's looking exciting here. The rest of the banner is... I mean, they're good units, I'm not going to lie, they're good units, but I think there's better coming out in the future. Like, even in terms of just these units' ability as offensive units, I think they're kind of beaten out still by the whole summer brave weapon thing. Sure, they're maybe a bit tankier, although even then, Summer Edelgard is really surprisingly tanky. Well, not surprisingly, she's an armored unit, but is really tanky and has a higher might brave weapon access to, and has an extra action that's not relying on you being able to use duo skills to get it off, right? Putting that all together, like, I think this banner is kind of outclassed, which might actually be good, because it might mean that we're finally going to see the end of ninjas. Like, not that there's anything wrong with ninjas, mind you. Just we've had it 3 years in a row now. Can we please have something else? IS, please. But yeah, Camilla might be pretty good. But yeah, aside from that, outclassed by Summer, and in the case of Cherche, outclassed by Spring Maria as well, I think. But not a terrible banner, by all means. Just, I think there's other things to be excited for. But do you agree with me? Let me know. Are you summoning? Let me know. And are you subscribed? I'm sorry, I can't do a YouTuber self-promotion while keeping a straight face. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Penrost out.